Please welcome from CJ Affiliate Country Manager, Tobias Algeyer.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining that last session, I think, in the room today. So my name is Tobias Algeyer. Forget about the last name, it's very German. I'm based in our beautiful Munich office, so I took all the way to Santa Barbara CJU, which is awesome every time. And alongside with my esteemed colleague, Jules Baisley, we are running, he's not here, by the way, we are running the European business. And due to the fact that we are handling a lot of global and pan-European clients, somebody thought it's a good idea if I moderate the panel, which I'm happy to do so. So in today's panel, we try to cover two areas when it comes to global affiliate marketing. So one is the cross-border piece. So is everybody aware what cross-border shopping means? So this means people from China or from Brazil or wherever they buy into domestic stores in the US or in Europe. And that's what we call cross-border shopping. And the other one, the true global shopping, is when we have our advertisers and they have domestic or localized stores, or ideally with in-stock things as well. These are the two areas we try to bring together. And therefore, I'm happy to welcome our panelists. So Dione Martin, Senior Manager from IHG. Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie Dörr, Team Lead from MyTheresa. Rytis Meskauskas, sorry for the last name, CFO of NordVPN. Nancy Zhang, Head of Partnerships at BorderX Lab. And last but not least, Fernanda Hermanny, Director of Operations, Afilio. So let's go straight into it. First question is for our advertisers. Let's first understand your brand approach when it comes to global. What are you doing to reach globally and connect locally with your consumers? Who wants to start first? You?
Sure, I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So IHG is a hotels company, so we're inherently global. We have hotels all over the world, and our approach is one of, we have our team, our affiliate team is staffed all over, in all of our regions across the globe. We have teams in Shanghai, Singapore, Dubai, London, and Atlanta. So we really rely on each other to make sure that on the ground, in market, we're doing the right things, that we are staying ahead of what's going on politically, anything we need to know, so that we're always ahead and aware of any business challenges or things that we can take advantage of.
Okay.
So I'm from MyTheresa. We are selling global luxury fashion, online global luxury fashion. We carry more than 200 of the most sought after international brands like Gucci, Prada, Balenciaga, Valentino, Saint Laurent. And we are shipping to 140 countries worldwide. And we are basically launched women's wear online in 2006 and kids wear this January, and we'll launch menswear upcoming January in 2020. And in order to reach globally, we have basically over 700 employees of 65 different nationalities that are working on a constant base out of our Munich headquarters, but also London, Barcelona, Berlin, to on our global reach and seamless user experience in app, mobile, and desktop. We are basically delivering super fast. An important piece is super fast and reliable delivery. So, for example, to the US, between 24 hours and 72 hours, depending if East Coast or West Coast. We're launching exclusive capsule collections globally to reinforce our exclusive positioning with designers like Dolce & Gabbana and Jill Sander. This is basically how we tackle the global reach. And you also asked for how we connect locally with our customers. So the store is available in 8 different languages, from Arabic, Chinese, English, Korean, and we even differentiate between British English and American English for the localized content. Then we basically have a customer service team of native speakers, of 13 different languages, a personal shopping team that is connected with our top customers via WeChat and WhatsApp to be really close to the customer, really local payment methods like Alipay for China or Amex for the US. We're hosting on-site events, for example, with our top customers, press and celebrities around the globe. We're addressing and communicating with our customers towards relevant local marketing channels like Naver, WeChat, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so for us, being a software company, it's like easy distribution. In that case, we don't need to send a parcel. But anyway, at the beginning, we were more concentrating to English-speaking countries, and we thought that we can like employ the same technique for pretty much around the globe. But then we started to struggle at certain points. So now we're really a lot of focus to different markets, meaning from like being able to pay for different type of customers in different markets, as well as get the product. So basically now we have well over 20 languages on our website. As well, we are investing in our customer support. For a long time, it was mainly English support, and now we are hiring people that speaks different languages, so we could as well give out live support to any customer in his native language, because anyway, it's a technology, and usually people have some more questions related to that, so we need to be able to serve them. So yeah, we started like with a single market as English-speaking market, but then we want to go to all the rest of the countries, and we see that they have some specifics we need, which need to be addressed.
Yeah. Interesting. So, Rytis, you mentioned that for you it's easy because it's software. I think, Stefan, your instance is a little bit different because you are selling goods. So how do you handle that? Do you have local stock, or is it centralized thing you are handling out of Munich, or how do you handle the whole thing in general?
It's basically everything is based out of Munich, also the headquarters based in Munich. Some bits and pieces are based out of Barcelona and Berlin, for example, IT and customer care, or our buying team naturally has to sit and be based in London, where the luxury fashion is basically more going on than in Munich itself. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So let's talk about the cross-border piece. So Nancy and Fernanda, maybe you can share some secrets if an advertiser is interested to enter these markets. So maybe there are some do's and don'ts when it comes to cross-border shopping.
Sure. For anybody who's kind of new to cross-border shopping, I think the idea is quite simple, which is that we are in a hyper-global world where consumers travel and they have access to the internet. So, you know, in previous, kind of in my background in retail, is we used to think of our regions as, you know, APAC, Europe, and the Americas. And we expected APAC customers to buy from APAC, and American customers to buy from America, and European customers to buy from Europe. Well, guess what? World doesn't work that way, right? So when it comes to cross-border, what we see is that actually there's quite a lot of customers who want something that they cannot get in their region. And they're looking towards mobile technology, and they're looking towards this kind of globalization to help them get access. So some of the things that are most important to a cross-border shopper is access to authentic product, right? So if they can't get something in their local region, they either have to travel there to get it, which is why you see, you know, 30 people standing in line at Chanel trying to get into the Chanel store in Paris, and they're mostly all Chinese. Or they're looking for access to a great price or some sort of value proposition, some sort of long-tail product. So authenticity is key, but also unique product that they can't get in their country is key. And so when it comes to cross-border shopping, you know, from a retailer's perspective, it may be very confusing, or it may be kind of inconvenient, right? It's kind of like, well, why can't the APAC customers just buy from APAC? And the reality is that APAC customers are trying to reach something that they can't get, and that's why they're coming to the home country, or that's why they're trying to come online. And what we do at BorderX Lab is we make the operations, the shipping, all of that cross-border global transaction easy. That's given, but really what we do is we engage new customers. We specialize right now in global Chinese, but we will in the future reach out, break out into South Korea and also in the Middle East. And what we're doing is we're using hyper-localized marketing technology, hyper-localized content, influencers, and customer engagement to help product discovery, right? So we have data, we have AI and machine learning that says that APAC customers like the color red. APAC customers prefer certain lipstick shades or certain products that is better fit for their lifestyle or for their fit, and we can help enable discovery, and we can also use that as a way to help new brands break into the market. So we know that if a customer likes Michael Kors, maybe they'll like a new product that is similar in price point and look to Michael Kors that they haven't heard from before. And in the past, I think there's this conception that APAC customers are very logo-driven, and actually that is becoming more and more of a misconception, especially when it comes to millennials and Gen Z who are looking for authenticity and for discovery. So this is really where Sandrine's last presentation, if you were here for that, where she talks about influencers and community having access to recommendations and having outside voices that brings in to help customers that are looking for cross-border access, to help them guide them through a process where they can feel good about buying something they haven't seen before.
Thank you. I agree with Nancy, and at Afilio, what we do is help foreign retailers who are CJ clients bring their brands into Brazil. And some of the key things that Brazil is a huge country. We are a continental-sized country. We are the only Portuguese-speaking country in Latin America. We speak no Spanish, and it's fundamental that have a Brazilian website. Make sure you accept Brazilian credit cards. In Brazil, for example, 90% of the products are purchased and bought in installments. Anything you can buy in 6 to 12 monthly installments. And the Brazilian consumer, even though they love foreign brands and they're looking for exclusive products, they need to feel that they're talking to somebody in Brazil. And it's communicating to them in their language. We are very far away from other countries, a very bureaucratic country, so it takes a long time for the goods to arrive. And there's a lot of tax issues, in the middle. So as Brazilian as you can get, and as Brazilian as you can look, the better.
I agree with you, Fernanda, and on top, you mentioned a really important point, which is that everybody says, okay, Chinese millennials, they're the next biggest market. Chinese millennials are a bigger market than American millennials, right? But did you know that only 1% of the Chinese population has access to a credit card, a US credit card, like an Amex or a MasterCard, which means the other 99%, even if you're marketing towards them, even if you're bringing them to your site, and they're learning about your product and they're learning about your pros and cons of purchasing from you, unless you can accept local payments,
yeah,
which is my Teresa, you wouldn't be able to actually convert them into a sale. So having access to that local currency actually is quite key as well.
Yeah.
Can I just ask another question, Fernanda, around the language thing? Because you said, okay, you need a localized thing, for example, Portuguese thing. But I assume it's not enough to have a Portuguese translated website. You need the Brazilian part of it.
Brazilian Portuguese, not
because that's
not
what I learned from
Portugal.
my UK friends. We always say, okay, the US is providing English content, and then, oh, no, that's not English. So, so that's something I think you need to be aware of.
No, it's true. Even Portuguese brands,
yeah,
looking to come to Brazil will need to get translated.
Yeah.
The way we talk, and it's like Scotland and the United States.
I like that. Okay, so let's go back to the advertiser side of the house, and let's talk about global expansion via the affiliate channel. So the question is, how important is the affiliate channel in your global strategy? And do you differentiate the strategy on the different regions, on the different markets, or is it a, let's say, a global strategy with some local nuances?
Yeah, so for us, affiliates are really important. It's going around 40% of all our sales are done through affiliate networks. So, and that said, the networks is the real power, because if we would need to reach out to every affiliate site directly and would try to make a relationship, that would be like a big trouble for us to do that. And having a really good, strong partners in affiliates networks who basically can understand different markets, can introduce us to people who can share their experiences over there. It's a really helpful hand, without which I would say we would struggle for way longer until we get to the certain markets.
Okay.
So within affiliate, we have basically the same strategy globally. If it comes, for example, to a clear selection process of affiliates that have to fit a certain, that have to fit our luxury positioning. But looking at the region, our focus has changed from previously Germany and Europe, where we were able to establish a market leadership within luxury fashion already, to the US and Greater China, where we still see huge potential for growth. And with regards to publisher business model, for example, we generally have the same rules globally, but we realized that we have to be open to new models within some regions in order to stay competitive and evaluate these new models carefully. Yeah, with regards to KPIs, we're definitely monitoring each KPI on an affiliate level and like a market level, and compare those KPIs on an average market levels within MyTheresa. So for example, the average order value, the new customer share, the repurchase rates. So we're definitely monitoring this very closely.
Affiliates definitely a huge channel for us globally. Our global strategy is it's the same. It's one strategy, and it's drive revenue, drive it efficiently, and be a good partner. However, our objectives are different across our regions. For example, in the Americas, it's a very well-established program, and we're kind of good on revenue. So now our focus is innovation and what kind of new things can we do. Whereas our emerging markets, APAC, Middle East, those are regions where we're trying to find new partners to work with, new marquee affiliates that can really grow those regions out.
Okay, so what you are saying is you measure success differently in the regions, so compared to your domestic market like in the US?
We measure success differently. Our senior leadership doesn't. They want revenue where it doesn't matter where it is. But from our team perspective, yeah, we're trying to just get more publishers in our EMEA and Europe and China regions, and kind of diversify our publisher base and our affiliate partner base. Whereas, like I said, in Americas, we've kind of been doing that and doing it pretty well for about 15 years. Yeah. So now we're like trying to do the next step there.
Interesting. Okay, so the next question is just out of interest because I'm working for a network. So what is the most important characteristic or feature you are expecting from a network? So where do you see the USP from a network like CJ?
Yeah, so at least for us, the reach and actually the people who are really good professionals in what they do, and as well as how they look into different markets. Do they have experience, or they just provide a platform and this is it? So the knowledge and the reach of the platform, I would say, is the key components.
Okay.
I would definitely agree. For me also, like the reach and the market knowledge, knowing how publishers work per market, what they do, what are the most important shopping holidays, so the market knowledge itself, but also the tech. Like, for example, the tracking technology just to mention event ID tracking, situational commissioning, like constantly further develop the technology as a network, but then equally important, support with implementing, like the tech support is as important, and CJ is doing a great job with regards to tech
Thank you for mentioning this.
and helping to implement these new technologies. And last but not least, we are all here today because you're an enabler of business opportunities. So yeah, to be able to meet new potential partners and to meet existing partners and to grow and business opportunities is a super important point as well.
Okay.
You're doing a great job.
I'd like to make a shameless plug to some of our best partners at CJ, which is, Malia, she's right here, and Alex Hart, I don't know where he is, but one of the things we love on a publisher side in working with the great network is that depth of knowledge, but also this kind of like matchmaking, understanding of who we are, right? I think particularly with CrossBorder and particularly with APAC customers. There's a lot of misconceptions in the market about gray market goods, about freight forwarding, which is like a 4-letter word, really. And we rely very heavily on our partnership with the CJ team, who truly deeply understands our business model and is able to speak to it intelligently with advertisers and help us really make that matchmaking and find the right process. So that's something we absolutely very much appreciate about CJ.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Let's move to another important topic these days, and that's one of our key topics as well, is data. So when we talk about that, are you using this data already for your global strategy as well, to measure success or to optimize partnerships with publishers or anything like that? Steffi, if you don't mind. Are you using it? I don't know.
Like in terms of customer relevant data or customer-related data?
Yeah.
Well, in a luxury company, the customer is the most important thing. So customer centricity, it's all about customer centricity, which is basically represented by a company value, love our customer. And we do monitor very closely customer satisfaction, customer quality, customer shopping behavior. We do have a CRM and marketing intelligence teams sitting within performance marketing, and they play a very important role in this measuring what customers exactly like and want and do, and yeah.
Okay.
For IHG, I'd say one of the biggest global things that we look at from a data perspective is feeder markets and where they're located versus where they're booking hotels. It's not always, and most of the time it's not, someone in America booking a hotel in America. They can book in all over the place. And so it's really important for us to understand that, so that when we have a particular market that has need, we know where to find those customers, where we can drive revenue for that region based off of where the people are coming from that book that hotel.
Okay. Rytis, what about you? I assume it's a little bit trickier based on your business.
Yeah, so we are like in a tricky situation because on one hand, we do look a lot at the data, what it can tell us about our potential customers. But from the other side, we as a product, we as well enable them to stay anonymous or to travel virtually to other location. And the more customers in general, the more people are using VPNs, the less tracking options there is for marketeers. So on my end, on the one hand, I want to acquire as much customers as possible, but then I understand it will be hard for me to do anything else with them as well, because they will be anonymous to me too. So basically what we do, and the core of VPN is like not storing any data about our customers as well. So basically when we even research our customer base, we just interview them as a clusters, not as a specific customer. So we cannot do like direct advertising to specific person in that case. So yeah, there's both like good parts and the challenges coming as well from our own product even.
Okay. And from a publisher perspective, how do you use the whole data piece already?
It's very interesting for us because we talk about deep localization. So our customer service is in Portuguese or in Chinese, our shipping, all of our data, the customers' addresses are in different languages. And more importantly, in a mobile-first environment, customers don't use emails. So email addresses, which in the US and in other, for a lot of advertisers, it might be the most effective way of converting a sale, but in China, people just don't check their emails. So we've done a very good job of partnering with our advertisers to share data, even though our customers, we have a joint ownership of our customer data because the customer transacts, because we're a hosted cart, transacts on our app, but then we actually share that data and share the analytics with our advertisers. And actually a really interesting study that we did was that there was some guesses with one of our big, I won't tell you their name, but it's 4 letters and it's a big multi-brand retailer in the US. And they were wondering how much of the overlap there is between the customer base that they have in their database as opposed to the customers that are transacting on their shop in our app. So we did this deep dive of customer data, and we found that there was a 2% overlap. So there is a lot of unhidden, kind of uncovered opportunity in finding and interacting with a deeper level of localized customers that advertisers may be missing because they don't have the bandwidth or they don't have the expertise to go there. And they kind of trust and rely on us to be good stewards of that data and not to abuse it, and vice versa. And I think that in that case, it's really a two-way street. And we found that there's a lot of value in sharing that data.
Okay.
Yeah, in Brazil, I would say there's a lot of value in helping clients and publishers understand the different selling channels and what works best. For example, in Brazil, email sells a lot. Brazilians are always checking their email, and they're buying through newsletters and emails, and it's very good for a certain kind of campaigns. For others, funny enough, in Brazil, there's a lot of sales happening through Facebook groups that are actually managed by individuals whose only job is to send out promotions for that group of people on that certain interest. So we can help guide and navigate the different channels, which is, the purpose of the network, really. Yep. And funny enough, it's here in the United States, for example, your social security number is your most precious piece of information you could have. In Brazil, the Brazilian social security is the most widely used number a person could ever use for anything. I will type my social security number 10 times a day, anywhere. It's the one number we use for just about anything. And there's this, it's a different approach. And we're here to help, bridge that gap.
Interesting. So before we open the panel for Q&A, maybe you can share with the audience the biggest setback or the greatest success with your global expansion efforts. And in the interest of time, I would like to have a quick answer.
Setback and success. Well, I would say one of our biggest setbacks, or we continuously have this challenge with setbacks, is this idea of channel conflict, right? Which is a basically catch-all phrase of saying, we have a China team, we have an Americas team, we have a Brazil team. Why can't they just buy where they want? Why do the Chinese people want to buy in Brazil, and why do the Brazilians want to buy in the U.S.? And we don't like to deal with that. And our answer is, whether you like it or not, it's happening. So instead of telling the customers no, why don't you tell the customers, sure, I can make it easy for you. Absolutely. And I think one of the most successes we've had is as we've gotten deeper and deeper into APAC, we've also looked at Hong Kong. We've opened our Hong Kong business, which is very different, actually. You would think Hong Kong, there's lots of controversy, I think, in the last couple of weeks about Hong Kong, China versus Hong Kong, right? And one thing that we see is that there's lots of different, even within the greater area of mainland China, and particularly Hong Kong, there's lots of different customer differences in the customer's preferences. And what we found is that we're able to dive deeper into those differences because of our local knowledge. And we will continue to do that and continue to advise our publishers, our advertisers so that they can kind of make the right step into those markets without making some faux pas.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for us, the biggest setback, it was Brazil. We initially thought that, well, okay, the big market, we have translation to Portuguese, so why not try do some more actions over there? But then we faced that, yeah, basically we have credit card availability, but our processors don't proceed with Brazilian cards. So we needed to introduce that. We needed to localize Portuguese to Brazilian as well. So yeah, that was one of the biggest setbacks for us. Now we redoing pretty much everything over there, and we'll try once more.
Great. I would say setbacks for us are mainly bureaucracy and tax. These impact directly on deliverable goods. Success for me is your setback, is helping you, truly, making sure you get the right credit cards and you get the right websites.
Steffi, what about you?
So setbacks, non-setbacks,
Of course
or
not.
none that I can share with you. Success, I would say, the biggest success is we've just ended our fiscal year in June with 377 million euro in revenue and a 25% growth versus previous fiscal year. So our global expansion is working well. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
I'd say that our setback and our success is actually the same thing, and it's trying to find that delicate balance of a cohesive global program that's also autonomous, and that allows each of our regions to do what's best in their market. And so we have been really successful at doing that, but we've definitely had challenges and communication issues, or not being on the same page or not being in agreement on how what's best for the program overall. So yeah, I'd say they're kind of both of those things.
Okay. Thank you for sharing all these insights. Thank you for attending the session. And are there any questions? Perfect. No questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.